Well, howdy, folks. I'm back. Yeah, as you can see by the title, it says Hypocrites and Hypocrisy. You know what? Over the years, I've talked with a lot of folks who have left their church or stopped practicing the religion they were raised in. Many times when I ask why, they simply reply, well, they got tired of all the hypocrisy. They got tired of watching church leaders and church members say one thing and do another. Now, I have to agree with them about that, although I usually did try to convince them that not everyone was a hypocrite. But then, sure as God made little green apples, there'd be a news story about some big name, hellfire and brimstone preacher being caught up in just the situation they usually ranted and raved about. A holier-than-thou politician standing up and demanding that the Ten Commandments be placed everywhere in public places. Then being caught violating several of them. Primarily, the one about thou shalt not bear false witness, or thou shalt have no other God before me, such as money and power and all those things. Shucks, some modern politicians violate the commandments almost every day. So what does the boss say about hypocrites? Now, by the boss, of course, I mean Jesus. Is he okay with people saying one thing and doing another? Well, I have to say, no, he's not. For example, in the Gospel of Matthew alone, he calls them out 12 times. The one I really find most in tune with what I see among a lot of today's Christians is what he says in Matthew 6:5. And when you pray, you are not to be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners so that they will be seen by people. Truly I say to you, they have their reward in full. Now, this doesn't mean not to watch a streaming service where the pastor or someone else leads the congregation in honest prayer. This is talking about that televangelist late at night, with the paid programming, who looks at the camera and so passionately prays as if he or she is trying for an Emmy or an Oscar. This is the flamboyant, look at me, I'm so holy person, who makes sure everyone around knows he or she is praying. Now, another one of those times when Jesus lowered the boom on some hypocrites is told in Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you tithe mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weightier provisions of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. But these are the things you should have done without neglecting the other. Now think of the scribes and the Pharisees a little bit like the leader who makes certain that you really should support their ministry. I mean, after all, there are passages in the Bible that say a person should be willing to, offer up what they can in thanks for what they've been given. And that's okay. The problem becomes when that's the main focus of the ministry, and they forget they're supposed to actually help those less fortunate than themselves. I mean, really. Does a man of God, a person who is supposed to be a representative of Jesus on earth, a person who is supposed to help people who are lost, really need a big house, fancy car, and expensive clothes? Jesus points out that the concept of tithing is not more important than anything else when he added that line, weightier provisions of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. You can easily tell which political and church leaders fall into this category when all they care about is power and wealth and care nothing about making sure children are fed, the sick can be taken care of, and that those in pain are offered help. They are the ones we find referenced in Mark chapter 7, verse 6. Again, these are the words of Jesus. But since many of our mainstream Christian leaders like to use the Old Testament to get around what Jesus actually teaches us, here's what he said. But he said to them, rightly did Isaiah prophesy about you hypocrites, as it is written, the people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far away from me. There you go, boys and girls. No matter what you say, no matter how you look at it, if you're a hypocrite, God knows. Everybody knows. People can tell. No matter how you slice things, if our religious leaders simply pay lip service to what is written but never follow through, they are dishonest Christians, or honestly, they're not Christians at all. Now remember in the letter of James chapter 2 verse 26, for just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. If we want to revive Christianity, if we want to keep people involved, we have to stop the hypocrisy. We need to weed out the hypocrites, and we have to practice what we preach. That's going to do it for this one. Remember, honest Christianity is all about being true to the teachings of Jesus, not man. And certainly not any organization that simply wants to tell you and tell me and tell all of us how to live while not abiding by those rules themselves. I'll talk to you later, guys. God bless y'all, and peace.